talk about prayer and how it has an effect on the fifth level of your aura, bringing more alignment with your purpose and the higher will for your life. Hi, I'm Shelley Harrison. I am a professionally trained energy healer with a specialization in trauma healing, both personal and generational trauma. Why did I specialize in trauma healing? Because what I learned after 10, 15 years of being an energy healer, doing hands-on energy healing work, as well as craniosacral therapy, I also work in the body, how your energy fields all penetrate into the connective tissue in your body, and craniosacral therapy help you to gently unwind on the physical level. But what I discovered after so many years of doing this work is that the deepest blocks that we have in our energy field are from the most overwhelming things that have happened to us. So our traumas are overwhelming events that were either emotional or physically too much for us to integrate at the time. In the language of the school I was trained in, which is the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, we call this your wounds, the wounds that you carry, right? Literally in your energy field, they're the impacts, the distortions, the blockages, and the damage that sits in your energy field, that when you try to upwell your beautiful core star light, your essence, your divine light, and it passes through these distortions, what you end up creating in your world is a reflection of the distortions. And life looks and feels painful when we create through the distortions in our energy field. The good thing about that, in a sense, why we've chosen to be here in material reality, why we figured out, hey, the Earth plane, that's a great place to hang out, is that you can see it, right? When you create it in these experiences in your life, you could call it physical creations, but it's like the experiences that we create and attract, because like attracts like in your energy field. So if there's distortion and damage in your energy field, low frequency energy, pain-stricken energy, we will attract something of the same frequency, right? So the good news is now you can see the outpicturing of what it is being created through the dimensions of your energy field. And this is where consciousness comes in, right? It's like, oh, okay, this is showing me what's happening here. How can I turn around and look back at where the pain is, where the trauma is, where the distortions in belief is that I'm pushing my energy through, my light, my life force through, and how can I come back now and become conscious and work with that? And that's why we all get kind of addicted to personal development work, right? Because I know if you're here, you're probably very busy trying to work with and change and transform what you hold inside, right? Whether you choose to do that by going to see a psychotherapist or a body worker or doing a meditation or a spiritual practice. Okay, so fifth level of your aura. Sorry, I didn't finish that thought. Did I get rambling here? Trauma, biggest blocks in your energy field. And so I started to specialize in trauma healing work by studying somatic experiencing through the Somatic Experiencing Institute, which is the work of Dr. Peter Levine, teaching you how to drop into your body to connect with where those blockages are, where that overwhelmed energy is that couldn't be processed at the time. And so I started to refine how I work with you so that rather than just doing a hands-on healing work, I teach you how to shift and transform these blockages and these distortions by dropping into your own body sensations, which lands you right in the first level of your aura, the level of sensation, pleasurable and painful, which we work on Mondays. And you'll find a number of videos on my YouTube channel now where you can explore the first level of your field. So, and then what you discover, or what I discovered as I learned to work with people this way, right, is then so much of the distortion, the pain, the blockages that we carry in our energy field, much of it got there because it's inherited. These are the patterns of what you might call on a psychological level, right? We think of this as, oh, my family dysfunction, the ways, the pain patterns, or the hurt, or the neglect that I received from my parents, from my family system. But where did your parents receive it from, right? These are the inherited family traumas that are carried down through family systems. And lots of this is also what's sitting in your energy field. And unless we get to this deeper layer, you're not really getting to root cause. You're not really getting to what is going to finally shift and resolve and change things in your life. So I dove deeper and became a family constellations facilitator. And this is beautiful soul level work to very lovingly work with generational trauma and see what hasn't been attended to in the family pain body, and how to discover that, work with that, transform it, and bring it to peace and resolution, so that you carry something different from your ancestors. You carry the blessings instead of the burdens. Okay, that's me. So today we're going into the 5th level of your aura. And today's self-care tip is, let me just pull it up in front of me, prayer. 5th level of your aura. I'm going to try to show you a image of this again. Going over to my Instagram feed. And the posts on your etheric body, 5th level, are a dark cobalt blue, because that is what you look like on this level of your being if you could see it. You are living on this level in this beautiful sea of cobalt blue energy, like the background of a blueprint. Think of an architectural blueprint. And it is a structured level where there are lines of light that trace out every detail of your physical anatomy and physiology, and even your chakras. Except for, and it's very hard to depict this, I have tried, where we would think there would be a line of light creating form and structure on this level, they are empty channels, like an empty riverbed, and surrounded by the cobalt blue energy, which holds the space for form to arise in the empty lines of light. It is mind-blowing. So grateful to Barbara Brennan, who has passed away now. She died in 2022. But for this deep insight and wisdom in how we are built, constructed as human beings, that there is this incredible level out here. Where's my 5th level? There it is. This is the level she realized holds our alignment with divine will. And it is the level that holds space for the perfect form, our perfect physical form, to arise and to hold our alignment with higher will, our alignment with, to feel into it here and drop into these lines so that this feels real to me. Let me just do this. I'm going to click into my empty channels on this level. This level has everything to do with guidance, right? Because you could say when we're fully settled into these empty channels that they're holding space for the perfect form to arise, we are in alignment with our guidance. Okay, that's interesting. I just clicked into the guides on this level. this is one of the levels where we are connected with beings that are not in physical bodies. You could say spiritual beings, specifically our guides on this level, the ones that are meant to help us to click in to this perfect pattern for us. As I was feeling so good, I'm going to just check out on you here. So this can be a simple or a tricky level to work with. I find, and Barbara also noticed, that in Western culture, we're not very strong on this level. We do not spend a lot of time thinking about surrendering to the higher will or surrendering to an authority greater than ourselves. In fact, we tend to have a lot of projections onto authority figures in our culture rather than a sense of reverence, respect, and turning to elders or sources of authority that are guidance for us, right? This is Asian cultures tend to have a much stronger connection on this level because of the sense of reverence for elders, for ancestors, for guidance, for structure, for form. And if you're watching this and your people are from an Eastern culture, an Asian culture, I would love for you to share in the comments if you feel like that's true. If you were raised in a family or a social structure where it felt like this kind of seeking or surrendering or feeling into an authority, a structure, some guidance, some form for your life, if that feels true for you. And likewise, if you were raised in a Western country, Western culture, descendant of settlers to North America, or descendant of European cultures, does that feel true to you? Do you feel like you tend to get into resistance and rebellion against authority in your life? Because we're taught mostly the sort of the Western paradigm is like, you're your own authority and go thy own way and forge your own path and be self-sufficient. So we're not taught to lean into reverence for elders and culture and guidance that comes from spiritual tradition, really. Okay. Practice today is prayer. How does prayer connect us with this level of guidance and alignment? First of all, do you have a practice of prayer? Is this part of your spiritual practice? I did not until my 30s because I wasn't raised with a spiritual tradition, which was a great blessing in some ways because I didn't have anything imposed upon me. I spent my childhood running around in the woods, communing with nature, which is why immersion in nature is still where I really find my spiritual connection. But I also missed out on, you could say, the mentoring of, here's how we do these ritual practices. Here are some ways that we connect with divine and the experience of doing that. So I began to learn about, prayer. How do I have this conversation with my divine in my 30s from one of my teachers and mentors. Her name's Sherry Morgan, and she is kind of a prayer specialist, and she lives in Victoria, Canada now, and she's definitely an elder. Hi, Sherry. I believe Sherry is in her 70s, and a fun fact, Sherry and I were born on the same day, many years apart, but we are both February 6th Aquarians. So prayer is a conversation, which seems beautiful and significant because our fifth chakra, through which we communicate and express ourselves and express our needs and say what we have to say and share our voice and then receive back the nourishment and the listening through the fifth chakra. Your fifth chakra is the foundational note, and you could say like the doorway into the fifth level of your field. So they resonate with one another. And if this is about speaking and receiving and asking, the fifth level is also about this kind of asking for guidance, asking for alignment, asking to be shown the way, the perfect pattern, the alignment with divine will, which connects us with our purpose. So prayer is a conversation through our fifth chakra of asking and receiving the guidance back, or offering gratitude for the guidance and the blessings received. And we offer out the gratitude and say, thank you so much for all that has been created in my life from this level of form reality, all that has been given space to arise and be created in my life. I thank you for this. Or, yes, thank you. I heard the guidance back and I'm giving thanks for your answer to my prayers. Yes. First part of prayer work is who are we talking to, right? So who is your higher power? Who are you having the conversation with? Who is your divine? Who or what, right? Do you conceptualize that as a person, a spiritual figure? Is it more of a more broad concept like the universe, the light? We're human beings, and we have a deep need in a lot of ways to personalize things, to personalize our spirituality so that it feels like a personal relational connection. And don't forget, your fourth level of exchanges in relationships sits just below or underneath your fifth level. So sometimes that's the first experiment if you're new to prayer, is like, who do I feel like I want to have this conversation with? Is it Christ for me? Is it the goddess as creatrix? Is it one particular face of the goddess that I am having this conversation with? Is it the land? Is it the ancestors? Is it God the Father? Is it just I'm speaking to the universal light? What feels like it is meaningful for you? What feels like when you sit down at your altar, light your candle, or however you want to create space and ritual for your prayer conversation? What feels like the person, the concept, the being that you're talking to? And if your spiritual practice is new, you may have to experiment a bit and be like, I don't know, who do I want to talk to? Who does it feel like I can connect with? I have to tell you, I'm still working this out because my personal spiritual practice is what we would call animistic. And I don't love words that kind of reduce whole experiences into concepts, but this means for me that, or polytheistic, this means for me, my personal experience or how I conceptualize divine is there is one great consciousness called God, called goddess, called the quantum field through which everything arises, but it's too big for me to mentally conceptualize and feel like I have a relationship with. It's too vast. It's everything, right? Everything we see in created form, everything we can't see, the universes, the planets, the solar system, is too big for my mind to hold, right? And so my feeling is that, but the one comes through in the many smaller divine expressions. There's the expression of the divine as the sun. And I give thanks to and revere the sun for all that it gives me in terms of illumination, warmth, upliftment. There's the expression of the divine as the land, and I give thanks to the land and all that arises from the land in terms of nourishment and grounding and provision. And there's the expression of the divine as the wind, and I give thanks to the wind and its beautiful talking and speaking and moving and giving me my breath. All of these different expressions. So when I sit down to have a conversation with the divine, I'm like, well, who do I want to talk to today? And I received a beautiful teaching from my elder this summer about just this concept of what's the difference between monotheism and polytheism, right? And it's really just like, if we're going to address our prayers and our requests to the one great being, if that's what feels right for you, this is so beautiful. But it's like taking it to the department that's the busiest. The one in the all has so much going on, right? It's almost like we want to take our requests to the departments that the one has designated as, okay, this is the one who deals with weather, and this is the one who deals with human relationships, and this is the one who deals with planting your crops, and this is the one who deals with the cutting down of trees. And so depending on what it is we're asking for help with, that we want to bring it to the right department or the right divine expression. So I do get talking when I get talking, don't I? Sorry, look at this lovely sunshine on my fingers. These are things to think about. But I encourage you to begin your conversation, even if the beginning of your prayer is, I don't know who the heck I'm talking to, but please listen to me. And here's what I'm offering my gratitude for, and here's what I'm asking for help with. And then, of course, when we ask for help, we ask for guidance. The other half is the listening. Listening is also a quality connected with our fifth chakra. Listening for the guidance. And this is a beautiful journey we get to be on too, right? Which is, how do I hear the guidance back? How do I hear the answers to my prayers? Am I expecting a voice to come into my head just as I say it? It's a beautiful discovery process for us to see, oh, wait a minute, that thing that just happened, that song that just came on the radio, that was the guidance. That's the speaking to me. Because that's the way the guides or the guidance or my divine can get to me, that I can listen. I have one client, she's like always seeing bumper stickers on cars that have certain words that jump out to her. And when she gets that feeling of like animation in her field, she knows, oh, that's the answer. That's the guidance today. Some people, the guidance is more intuitive. It can be events that synchronistically pop up in your life that you get to recognize as, oh, wait a minute, pay attention. That is some information of the prayer being answered. So prayer is a process, but as you drop into this prayerful conversation, you are dropping into the fifth level of your field, whether you know how to feel that yet or not, and asking in a way, please align me. Please align me into the alignment with higher will, that it exists on this level. Please drop me into my purposefulness. Please guide my path in this life so that it is in alignment with the higher divine will, which is how each of us individually is fitting in, slotting in to the greater evolutionary plan that is unfolding on Earth at this time. We're each part of it, and as each one of us can drop into our purpose and our guidance and start to move in a way that is in alignment with our life, we are also contributing to the greater whole. So practice prayer, and if you need to look up some other resources, go ask a religious person or a spiritual practice that can give you some guidance and help on this. See what it feels like in your body to drop into prayers of gratitude and prayers of supplication. How do you feel when you shift into this practice? You are working on charging and enhancing and aligning the fifth level of your aura when you do this.